Hello everyone, I'm back again today, and today I'm going to be doing something a little bit different. Today I'm going to be going over the tier list for the gods in Smite. Now as you can see, I couldn't find one with for the Medusa patch. I guess they're not needed anymore. So this is going to be for the next patch in Alpwash. I think that's how you pronounce the name, I don't remember. But this one he comes up. That's a little spoiler for anyone that doesn't know that this is the god after him. Cute little Ratatasker over here, who's gonna be really annoying when he comes up. But yeah, this is gonna be my thoughts for the Xbox One, because we're a little bit behind the PC, because Ratatasker just came out on PC. So we're gonna go over. We're gonna start off with S Plus tier. These are the characters that are like completely, really, very powerful. And I kind of have to say OP. They're pretty OP. And we're gonna start off with Athena. Athena, as you know, she's been one of the best supports pretty much since she came out. She fell out of favor a little bit, but it didn't last very long. She came back. She's still very good. Taunt is always going to be a great ability. She's always going to be powerful because she has a global ultimate, so she could go to whoever needs help. And yeah, Athena, she's very good. She actually does a pretty good bit of damage too. She can actually be played solo some. She was played mid in the spring finals by Kiki from AFK. She's actually a really good jungler too. She's actually very scary in the jungle, and of course she's also a great support. Athena, very good. She does a lot of different things. She's very powerful. Very good. Now next we got Bellona. There's not much I need to say about Bellona because she just does a little bit of everything. She's also very powerful. She's mostly played jungle, but she's also played solo some. She might be the best jungler in the game. She's very, very powerful in the jungle. Just because her ultimate is very good for ganking. And she has a slow. She could disarm. She has an AoE. I mean, she just has it all. There's not really much of a downside to Bellona. She's a little weak if she falls behind, but I don't know. It's kind of I find it kind of hard to fall behind a if you're playing her correctly. Nextly, we got Serket. Serket's one of the strange gods that she might be the most powerful god in the game if you know how to play her correctly, but she's kind of hard to play. You're gonna take quite a while. It's gonna take quite a while to kind of learn how to play her and get used to her and master her. But once you do, it's completely worth it because I don't know. She's, like I said, probably the most powerful god in the game. I would just say I'd say Bellona's probably slightly better jungler because she's easier to play. But if you get Serket mastered, and if you're someone that actually knows how to play Serket very well, then Serket's just gonna be better. She's just gonna blow everybody up. She hits hard. It's crazy. I mean, her ultimate's very good, especially against healers because they won't be able to heal. She's very good. You just gotta take the time to learn how to play her. And then, lastly, you have Sylvanas. Basically, when you pick Sylvanas, you're just saying that you win your lane. My phone keeps going off for some reason. Yeah, you pick Sylvanas, you're gonna win lane. There's no other way around it. He's only played as a support though. He doesn't really do that much else outside of support. Although if you're playing casuals, you can play him in the solo or mid lane if you want to for fun. Just rush a Telkine's ring. It's pretty fun. It's not great, but it's fun. Guardians are really good right now, so yeah, something to try. But yes, as a support, he's very powerful. He can also use Lotus Crown to give his teammates more protection and heal them. He's got some circles, aka his ultimate. So he's pretty good at securing objectives with his ultimate. He can heal his teammates, like I said. He can pull enemies. He can root them. He just has a bunch of CC and a lot of utility. Very powerful. The only downside to him is he's slow, but Eh, that's fine. So, one more thing to mention with these S plus tier gods. If you watch any pro games, these are usually the first 4 gods that are banned. These don't get. Usually, some combination of these gods are banned at the very beginning. Sometimes some of these other gods are banned just because someone on the enemy team might have like really strong, I don't know, ISIS. They might just want to ban ISIS because they don't want to deal with it. But general, these are going to be the 4 general first bans. Very rare that any of them get through, and if they do, they get first picked. Especially Sylvanas. Next, we're going to go to the S tier. This is going to be the tier that that's basically going to round out most of your team, at least competitive wise. Casual wise, it's fun to play. Whoever. But yeah, these guys are gonna be very powerful. Start off with Anhur. I don't think he's. No. Anhur got buffed slightly after the start of season 2. He got buffed, so his wave clear went back to what it used to be. Since all the hunters' wave clear got nerfed, which is why Xbalanque become so powerful. And he was played a lot after he got buffed. And he got played pretty well. He did pretty good. But then Heartseeker came out. People started playing Neath. Anhur's not that great anymore. He's still not bad. I put him somewhere. Probably put him S minus, to be honest. He's still really good. Reels from Fnatic still plays him a lot and does just great with them. So Anhur still has his uses. I mean, his passive is basically an executioner, which is also good. And yeah, Anhur. Not much of a reason to play him over Neath, but he's still really good if you're comfortable with him. He has a better leap than Neath, I can tell you that. Then we're gonna go to Baka. Baka is someone that doesn't get picked that much anymore for play, but I'm gonna keep him S tier because he's still really good and he's scary. You don't want to fight Baka in lane because he'll just shred through you. I guess people have kind of figured out how to counter Baka, which is why he doesn't get picked anymore. Or honestly, it might just be because the Guardian meta is just so powerful right now, so that's why you see more Guardians or even Warriors, because I don't know, your team just wants more tankiness. But Baka can still be good. He can still carry the game, especially early. Just know though, if you don't get some kills early, then that basically means you lost your lane because Baka needs to get kills in the lane. And he should get kills in the lane. If you're not getting kills, I mean, you don't have to get kills, but at least force them out of lane a lot so you can get up by a couple levels. Okay, you're not doing that. If they're staying even level with you, then that means they won their lane against a Boxer. Because Boxer should just be putting so much pressure on them. Nextly, we're going to go with Geb. Geb is definitely S tier. Well, as long as he has his shield, there's no reason why Geb will never be powerful. His shield is what makes him powerful. That's really all he needs, because the shield can completely change a team fight. Shield's good. Shield's great. Shield is what we all need. Shield. That's really all you can say about Geb. He has a shield. You can't beat the shield. Although he does have a pretty nice passive where he can't. I think it's something about getting critted. I don't remember exactly. I don't play a lot of support. I used to play a lot more support, but don't play that much anymore. And I think it takes like reduced damage from crits. I think that's what it is. But yes, Geb's very good. If you can't pick either these two, Geb. Now we got Hercules. Now Hercules is someone really strange. I really like Hercules, but I think he's a little overrated. I probably put him like S tier. S minus. He's still really good. He's really hard to kill, of course, because of his healing. He's got he does a pretty good bit of damage. I mean, he has pretty good scaling. His ultimate hurts. He can really get you out of position if he hits you with the combo. He has a lot of kill potential on the lane. And yeah, he's really good. Just put him S minus because I think there's other guys that do things better than he does. If that makes sense. But I still think he's really good. He can also be played support. He's not that bad of support. I mean, if you want to play a more aggressive type support, then Hercules is pretty good. But I don't know. I would just play Ares or Emir if you want to play someone more aggressive. Just personal opinion. Now we got Hoombots. Now Hoombots is someone I actually really love now. His ultimate's very powerful. Fear No Evil can, if placed properly, will win you a team fight. That's basically going to force them into early beats. His ability set pretty hard. He gets increased crit chance after using ability. So he buys Deathbringer and then he just crits you for 400 after he hits you for about 300 with his ability, 300 or 400 with his ability. It's pretty crazy. Hoombots really good. He can be called out though pretty easily, get stunned and out of stuff if he doesn't have Magi shit. So there's that. But the best thing about Hoombots, if you do fall behind on Hoombots, you'll never be useless with Hoombots because his ultimate will always be good for the whole game no matter what. So Hoombots is a pretty safe character that is good throughout the whole game no matter what happens to him. I mean, if you're level 1, they're level 20, I mean, your team will still find your ultimate useful. You might die, but as long as you get that ultimate off, you're all good. Now, we get Isis. Isis, I would probably say, is the best mage in the game right now. She's very good. She just does a little bit of everything. She has some damage. She has a lot of utility. She can help keep your team alive and heal them with her ultimate. She can stun people. She can get rid of Magi's very easily with their silence. It's very good. I wish people would stop calling me right now. And yeah. That's very good. If you play a lot of mid lane, try to learn Isis if you haven't already. And, well, you're not going to go wrong with Isis. Next, we got Giannis, who I actually really love. He's probably my favorite mid laner right now. Isis is pretty close up there. But Giannis, as far as usual mid laners go, as far as mages, he has the best rotation just because of his ultimate. And you can do a lot of funny things with those portals. He also just does a bunch of damage, so you can build him utility early. I like to start off with getting max cooldown for my first 2 items. And that's not going to really affect his damage too much because he just hurts a lot. I mean, you just hit someone with that portal, you put your 3 down below and they're going to take extra damage from your 2 once you use it. It's really good. It's crazy good. And plus they're going to be slowed after they land on your 3. With all that damage, they're going to be slowed. You can just basically take them down. He has a lot of kill potential early as you hit him with that combo. He's very dangerous. He's also hard to kill because he can just portal anywhere he wants to. His ultimate makes him CC, meanwhile he's channeling it. He's very good. He doesn't bring as much utility as Isis does, which is why he's not. I don't think he's quite as good, but he's still really good. He's being played a lot now in the pro scene. And I'll talk about the person that he kind of replaced in the pro scene. I can figure out where my mouse went. So next we have Medusa. Now Medusa is by the time this tier list came up, she was nerfed. And even after she got nerfed, I'd probably still place her in S, even with how she is today. She's very powerful right now. She might be an S plus because her 1 does so much damage. But I don't know. I think she doesn't really have much of an escape. I mean, her 3 can obviously get you out of a situation, but if you accidentally run into someone, then yeah, you're kind of screwed. Also, you're trying to chase someone down, you might run into a minion, and that also sucks. Her 3 is kind of bad, I think. It's pretty good against healers because it's going to stop their healing some, but I don't know. I think there's too many things that could stop it. It's kind of annoying, which sucks, but we're going to talk about the positives now about Medusa and why she's so good. Her ultimate is very good. It's really hard to get turned around not to look at her, especially if you're in the middle of fighting her basic attacking. Her 1, as you know, also does a stupid amount of damage and gives her a pretty nice attack increase. I just kicked my mic. And her 2 is very good at clearing the wave, and it has very good poke potential. Now, she's mostly only played Hunter role. I like to play her solo, though, too, a lot, because I think she doesn't have much of an escape, but I still think she's pretty safe, and she's got pretty good poke. Since a lot of times you'll be facing a lot of warriors in lane. Warriors have a hard time about being poked, because outside of Sun Wukong, not a lot of them have good poke on a ranged god. But the downside is you don't start with Hog. You can get invaded. Although you have Bluestone though, so it's not the worst thing you get invaded and don't get your blue buff. Next, I was talking about Giannis replaced someone that's probably the second best mage, or at least I think. And I think that's Poseidon. I don't know. I'd put Poseidon somewhere between S and S minus. Because Poseidon's very powerful. He does a lot of damage. Kraken is a very good ultimate, although that's a little bit of a problem with them because it can be countered. Just if they buy Aegis, they could just Aegis the Kraken, and Kraken does nothing. But the reason why he's still so good is because he has Whirlpool. Kind of like Gab's Shield. Whirlpool will always be a good ability. I mean, it cripples, it pulls them, it slows, especially with Gem of Isolation. I mean, it just completely disrupts the team fight. Still very powerful. He doesn't have that much utility though, which is kind of the problem with him. He has just a bunch of damage. I mean, his 2 is one of the best steroids in the game. His 1 has a knockback, so he has a tiny bit of peel, and it actually just hurts a pretty good bit. So Poseidon, that's kind of his weakness though. He doesn't have much utility, especially in this double hunter / guardian meta, where right now mostly people want their mid laners to have some kind of utility, which is why you see a lot of Isis and Giannis. They have an insane amount of utility, but Poseidon still really good. He has really good kill potential at level 5 because they're probably not going to have Aegis, and Kraken will probably just eat him if you place it right. Next, we're going to move on to Rom. He is one of the highest DPS hunters in the game, late game. Maybe being out DPS by Artemis, but we'll talk about Artemis a little bit later down there. Rom's very good. He does a lot of damage. He's decently safe. His ultimate, it's not too bad. It can help you get a kill from far away, especially if they're running away from you. He has 2 steroids, one that gives him extra damage and one that gives him attack speed. His damage steroid also makes his attacks wider, and they pierce targets. Also, so it makes it a little bit easier to hit your target. Your 3, after you roll, you can roll at them and then shoot them. Then if you hit that shot, it'll cripple them so they can't really go anywhere. Rom's pretty good. He's a little weak early game. He could be picked on a little bit early game, but not too bad. Not like some of the other ones like Artemis or AMC. He just needs some time to farm, get ahead. It'd be good to go. Next we got Thor. Thor's a very good jungler. He has amazing gank potential. He has pretty good utility because you're gonna build him slightly tanky, very slightly. But you want to build him slightly tanky because his passive gives him more damage for the more enemy gods around him. I think it's up to 3. So he has a lot of damage early game because of that too. And well, he has a stun. He hits pretty hard. His ultimate is semi-global. Very good at ganking. He just has a good bit of utility late game after his damage, because his damage is going to fall off late game for the most part. But he's still going to have a lot of utility. He could be a somewhat of a frontliner, kind of, not really, but kind of. And well, he's just going to be a major annoyance for anybody on the enemy team. Then we have Shibalanke. Shibalanke is very good. He's the hunter that will hit the hardest. He doesn't have the highest DPS because he doesn't have a steroid, but you're gonna see the biggest numbers coming out of him. You're gonna see big crit numbers. You get him up. His passive is very good especially if you get early kills, because you're gonna get a permanent damage boost for the rest of the game. He's also another late game hunter, just like Ramus. Medusa is not an early game hunter. She's much more of an early mid game, just like Anhur is, which I moved him down here. But I'm just thinking about Medusa. Might move her. Nah, I'll keep her there. I still really like Medusa. She's very okay. Other than that, we're to Shibalanke. Yes, he hurts a lot. You can build Heartseeker on him. Go with that build just for the extra damage early, since he does hit really hard. You can try a snowball to get your passive stacks early. Whatever you want. I'd say it's a little bit safer to go Devo Glow start, but if you feel like you can get ahead, just going to go with Heartseeker. Right. So now we're going to move to S-. These are guys that are still really good. Powerful. We already talked about these two. We're going to go to Bastet now. Bastet. She's someone that can be countered very easily. The problem right now, especially in casuals, people don't really know how to counter her. It's pretty easy. If you're playing solo lane or something, you have a hog. You can just hog the cats. Probably won't kill the cats, but they're going to be really weak. You can probably finish them off after that. But that's not the best way. The best way, just buy Sprint 2. You're better run away from the cats, because Sprint 2 makes you immune to slows. And cats won't really do much to you at that point. Or you just jump, especially back under tower. I don't know. Just gotta be mindful of her best data at all times. You don't want to be too far out, because she puts the cats on you, then they're gonna chase you down. They're fast. Outside of that, Bastet has a good leap because she can jump in, she can jump back out. On that, she's okay. Her cats all late game don't do that much damage, but they're still good for the slow, and they're pretty good at helping take objectives if need be. She's just someone that kind of falls off late game, but she can get really big early game, especially if someone doesn't buy sprint or anything to counter her. Do I want to keep her S? I don't know. I don't know if I want to keep her S- though. No, I'll just keep her S- for her. Then we have Kronos. Kronos is actually getting played a little bit more now. I think he's very good. I think he's perfect in S-. I don't think he's as strong as these gods up here. Actually, I'm going to move Medusa down to S-. I think she's an S-. I finally decided after 20 minutes of thinking. Anyway, yes, Kronos, he's probably the best at taking towers, I would say. He does a credible amount of tower damage. And he's very hard to kill because of his rewind. He has a stun. His one hurts a lot. He basically has a built-in Fatalis, so if you like playing with people with Fatalis, play Kronos, because you don't have to build Fatalis. Also, because of his ultimate that he can just rewind back, that makes him very good at boxing. Very good at boxing. That's about it for Kronos. He's pretty good. He can be played mid, he can be played solo, he can be played as ADC. Take a pick. He's pretty good. Next we got Nemesis. Nemesis is one of those gods that, if you're still trying to get comfortable with jungling and stuff, then Nemesis is kind of the god you want to play. She's pretty easy to play. Her abilities are straightforward. She's actually not that bad. She has a pretty good bit of utility. She has slows. She has a lot of slows. She does a pretty good bit of damage. She can just steal protections from the enemy tank. She's very good at dealing with tanky lineups. Because of that, overall, Nemesis is pretty good. We got Scylla. Now, before the last week of play, I would have moved Scylla down some because she didn't get really played much. She can be abused early because she doesn't do that much damage. But I don't know. I think I might still move her down A+. She's actually starting to get played a little bit now, but I still think she's still kind of weak, which makes me sad because Scylla's one of my favorite mages. If it wasn't for her weak early game, she would be much higher up there. She would probably be played a decent bit too, because she scales. I'm not sure if it's her abilities scale a lot off magical power, and she can build a lot of magical power. She needs to. She does a crazy amount of damage. She can easily hit someone for 1,000 damage with ultimate. Easily. Very easily. Takes no effort at all. Just hit someone for way over 1,000 with her ultimate. You need people for like 1,500. Crazy. You can combo your 1 and 2, and together you can hit someone for about 1,300 with just those two abilities. It's crazy. She does a lot of damage. The problem is getting her there. She can be picked on. She does not have a lot of protection. She does not have a lot of health. She does not have a lot of damage early game. She has bad clear early. The problem is just making it out of early game for Scylla. That's kind of the downfall with Scylla. Next we got Sobek. I'll keep Sobek S-. He's mostly played a little more in solo lane than he is support now. He's actually a pretty good solo laner. I mean, solo Beck. He doesn't do a whole lot in the lane. He doesn't have a lot of kill potential. Unless you can fling someone under tower and knock them back a little bit more, have the tower beat up on them some. Kind of the downfall with Sobek though is he's very mana dependent. I like to build damage boots and then Plate of Valor because they just give you a lot of mana. He needs it. Now his 3 does heal him, so it makes him pretty safe in lane. Along with also if you get Mark of the Vanguard, it'll help keep you safe and take less damage. You don't want to get Vampiric Shroud because you do have a healing ability. And yeah, his wave clear is gonna be kind of bad early, but I don't know. It's Sobek. He's a guardian. He doesn't care that much about the farm. Obviously, he wants the items, but guardians were designed to be played from behind, and he's not gonna be behind that much. He just needs to get some levels, and he can clear the way pretty decently. Then we have Sun Wukong. Now, Sun Wukong is someone I really love. I don't think he's S-. I think he's probably some more A tier. He's gonna begin some busts. Still don't know how great that's gonna make him. He kind of has the problem of this is kind of the basis for Sun Wukong. He doesn't really die, but he doesn't really do a whole lot else for his team. He just really doesn't. I mean, he has a knockup. He has pretty decent pill. He has a slow. He has a stun. But Ymir has a stun that could affect more than one people. I mean, Ymir also has a couple slows. I mean, Athena could taunt people off. She has a good peel. She has a slow. And she does a lot of damage too. Sun Wukong's just, I don't know. Now, he's not a bad support. He's actually a pretty decent support right now because of the Heart Seeker build being really powerful. Because unless they're neath, they're not going to have a way to sustain. And Sun Wukong has great poke. You can just poke him out of lane really easily. That's why he's excuse me. That's why he's also pretty good in solo lane against other hunters because he can just poke them. He's also pretty decent against warriors too, and pretty much most people in lane. He's pretty good in lane just because he can poke people with this one. He doesn't have that bad of a time clearing the wave. He's also really safe in lane because of his ultimate and his bird. Pretty good though. He just doesn't do a lot. That's how lane. I'll also talk about another god that also played solo that doesn't do a lot outside of lane, which we'll get to a little bit later. I should with on her though now, thinking about it. A lot of these should basically be changing a little bit later. I'm gonna put him somewhere between A plus A. So I really think with Neath, he's really there's not really much of a reason to play on her right now. Unless you're just really good with him. Next we got A plus. Start with Bacchus. Oh, Bacchus. I don't know. I think I'd move Bacchus down to A. I think he's really good. He has maybe the best objective steal in the game. But he's very mana dependent. They kind of fixed it a tiny bit with this buff from the last patch. But he still needs a pretty good mana early. I mean, he's not even really going to use his passive that much early game because he's not really spending all that mana into drinking. Though his belly flop does deal a decent amount of damage. His Burpica stun, once you do start filling up your meter, his ultimate just hurts a lot and has one of the best CCs in the game, making them drunk because they can't stop moving. It's really good with Xbalanque's ultimate because if they're moving when Xbalanque's ultimate goes off, they're stunned, and if they're intoxicated, they can't stop moving. It also makes it really hard for them to hit their attacks. Other than that, he doesn't have very good clear, which is also why you don't really see him with Xbalanque because together they don't have much clear. It kind of sucks. He can only be played support. He can't really be played anywhere else. I don't know. That's kind of the problem. He does a lot of damage. He just uses up a lot of mana. Next we got Fenrir. Anybody that's been watching my videos, or at least watched my Fenrir video, knows that Fenrir is my favorite guy in the game. And he's actually getting a lot more play right now. I've actually put him S- just because he actually has a pretty decent matchup against one of these S plus gods, and that's Bologna. Because Brutalize does a lot of damage early, and Bologna can't really stop you from brutalizing unless she ultis. And if you just get her to use her ulti just to stop your brutalizing, then, well, I mean, that's pretty good on your part. But yeah, Fenrir, he's pretty good. He can be played just as a straight up assassin. He can be played more as a bruiser. He can be played a couple different ways. He's played solo. He's played jungle. Mostly played solo. He played jungle a tiny bit. He's also been played a couple times as support. Mostly by Aurora from Eager, but he can be played support. Not that bad of a support. Obviously better supports. I don't know. Fenrir has a lot of lifesteal. He has a jump on his stun. He has a... Wow, I said that better. He has a stun on his jump. His ultimate can put enemy gods really out of place, and it's kind of a free kill. I don't know. I think he brings a decent bit of utility to the table. He hurts a lot early game. You need to get a hit with him early game, and just take advantage of the damage you have early game. Next we got Guan Yu. I think I'll keep Guan Yu A+. I think he does a lot of really good things. I think these Guardians being really powerful now is what kind of keeps Guan Yu a little bit farther down. But, I mean, he can shred protections. He has a slow. He has a heal. His ultimate is one of the highest damage. I think it's actually the highest damaging physical ability in the game. Does a lot of damage. You could pull back on the left stick when you're using it to slow him down. Make it easier to hit your enemies with it. He just had a pretty good bit of utility. He's pretty tanky. And, yeah, his 3 hurts a lot, especially if you can keep hitting them with it. So I approve of Guan Yu. He's mostly played support He's not played a whole lot, but I would say actually he's probably played a little more in solo. I guess now he's played a little bit solo, a little bit support. He's been playing in the jungle a couple times. I don't think it's that good, but hey, if you want to go jungle Guan Yu, go ahead, go for it. That's up to you. Next we got Raw. Now Raw is very good. He has a lot of utility. He just has no ability though. It's kind of the problem with him. Well, he kind of has mobility because he can use his abilities to make him move faster. Heavenly agility is very good on him. But I don't know. I don't know how I feel about Raw right now. I actually probably put him S minus, to be honest. I actually really like Raw. He's one of my favorite mages. I think Raw's been starting to see played a little more lately, which is good. I mean, his healing is very good. His ultimate hurts a lot. It's a little hard to hit. You gotta have some setup for it, but hey, hurts a lot. He's got pretty good wave clear with this one. He could blind people and slow them with this too. He has a pretty good bit of utility. Now he doesn't. I don't know. There's just something about Raw that just doesn't quite put him up here with, say, someone like Isis. I don't know what it is about him. I can't think of it off the top of my head. There's just something about him. But he's still really good. Learn how to play Raw. It's very powerful. Buy Lotus Crown Raw. Just build him. Very utility based. At least that's all I like to build. I mean, you can build him damage that you want, but I think you're missing out a lot on Raw if you don't build him more slightly utility based. About do it for A+. We don't have many A+ left, but I can go and tell you that's gonna be changing. We're starting with Agni, who I think should be A+. He was someone else that was played a lot early in season 2. And then the double hunter meta came out and Guardian starting getting played more. And then the focus went to more utility gods. Or mages. Honor. Nah. What is that honor? Agni does have a stun. You kind of have to set it up. He has a dash. He has a very good escape for a mage, for the most part. He has a lot of burst potential. His pass is really good because it just puts a dot on them. He's very good. He has a lot of damage. He's a very good damage mage if you want to get him. He has a lot of circles. Circles are good. You can just blow people up. Agni's fun. Now we got Ao Kuang. Ao Kuang. I don't know what I want to put Ao Kuang. I'll put somewhere like between A+ and A with honor. He does get a buff soon, which puts him, which makes his ultimate a lot better. Makes it a lot more useful early. I think it makes it where I think it just gives him like a. I can't remember. They changed the threshold, and it made it a lot better early game. I think it made it not quite as good late game, but that's all. That's fine. That's a good buff for him. They changed a couple things on other things on him, like he can use his 2 now while he's invisible, which was always kind of select about Aquan. Because you could use your 3 on Loki when he was invisible. It would make the sound, but he wouldn't become visible. So that was a good change. That was about time they changed that. And he just does a lot of damage. Now the problem is, he's a lot like Bakasura though, where he could just insta-give people. He could just blow people up very quickly. But I think Baka does a better job of it. And there's someone else that we'll talk about in a minute that does a better job of it when I get to her. Next we got Afro. Probably put Afro A-. I just don't see much of a reason to play Afro right now. I mean, I'm still gonna put her A- because she has a lot of healing. She has a pretty good ultimate. She's very powerful if you can get her with someone that's a hyper carry. Someone like Kali. If you get connected with the Kali to heal her up and keep her protected and stun for her. Oh, Kali is just gonna wreck people. It's not even funny. But the thing is, you protecting Kali is all the nicest stuff. But there's other healers that heal, that do a better job healing than you do, like Hell. Guan Yu does not heal for nowhere near as much as you do, but he has an AoE heal, which helps his team out a little more, I would say. Got Raw, who has an AoE heal. Sylvanas has a AoE heal. And as far as Kali goes, for protecting a hyper carry, why don't you just get Geb? Just put a shield on. I think that's better. Geb's a better character than Aphrodite, I would have to say. Aphrodite is very easily countered because they just buy Weakening Curse, then you're not healing. Or if the enemy team has an Odin and he rings around you, I mean, what are you really going to do? That's kind of the thing. You can't counter the Geb shield. You either have to let it run out, or you just have to do a lot of damage to the shield to destroy it. That's why I think Geb's are better for hyper carries than Aphrodite. Personal opinion. Now we're moving on to Arachne. Arachne is the one that I'm going to put at A+, because I think she's also a little bit better than Ao Kuang at just blowing people up. At insta-gibbing them. Now, Arachne is someone that I used to really suck with. I used to really hate Arachne with her old kit until maybe like a month before they changed her. I played around with her a little more, and I had a lot of fun with her old kit. It was fun just pulling people in, because when you pulled someone in, they were probably dead, in all honesty. Now her kit's a little bit different. I think it's a lot more viable. I don't think it's quite as fun, but it's a lot more viable. Her ultimate is a very good escape. They're not really gonna catch up with her once she ulties. You're just gonna have to hope that you put a dot on her. Also, she can ulti to you. It does a lot. Her ulti does a lot, pretty good bit of damage too. It doesn't do it like an insane amount, but it does a decent bit. She can with it. She has a slow. She has a stun. That's just basic. Attacks you a few times with her too. She can actually be played jungle or solo. I actually kind of like her in solo. She's not that bad solo. She has she has pretty good sustain herself with her 1. And I think she's kind of like Baka, where she can just kill people in lane. She has a slow, like I mentioned, she has a slow with her spiders, which can help you catch up with people, and you can also, you can also use it against minions and jungle camps. Now I got the hiccups. She's pretty good. She can kill people very quickly. Next we got Cupid. Cupid used to be a little bit higher up there, because he was a good counter to Xbalanque, but for some reason Xbalanque kept winning. He's still really good at Xbalanque, I'm not saying that, but Xbalanque is just outscales Cupid by so much late game. Cupid is definitely an early game god, or hunter. He falls off late game. He's more of a supportish type hunter, which is, it's nice. Pretty good. He's got pretty good sustain in lane if you want to go Heartseeker, because he can use his hearts to heal himself. Heart Bomb just hurts a lot, and it can stun. You don't get many stuns on hunters. His ultimate is very good. He's one of the few hunters with the team fight ultimate. And, well, you put him up in a lane with Ares, you just have a stupid amount of kill potential in lane. Cupid, you need to get ahead early. If not, you're just going to have a bad time with Cupid. Next we got Freya. Now Freya is... I'm actually going to put Freya A+. I don't really think... She might not deserve it, but I really like Freya. She does a lot of damage. She doesn't do as... I don't know what is it. She doesn't do as much damage as Hunters late game, but she gets online earlier than Hunters. All you need is to get Fatalis up, and you're good to go. Yeah, Freya's very scary. She has two steroids. She has her 3, which can pick people up, help you catch up to them, or just help you escape or your teammates. Her ultimate's pretty good at chasing people down or escaping. Freya. She has a lot of damage. She does damagey things. She has very weak early game, especially until she gets Fatalis up. So just be wary of that. Next, we got Hades. I'm going to say that this might be completely untrue, but Hades started getting played solo during the spring of the SPL. And he got played a little bit. Didn't get played a whole lot. But then you started seeing solo Beck coming out. And then people started realizing, oh, Guardians are pretty powerful. So I like to say Hades might have been the guy that started having people realize, hey, Guardians are pretty good right now. Now Hades is not a support. He's a Guardian, but do not play him in a support role. He's an awful support. He should only be played solo, maybe mid if you really want to. It's kind of iffy, but he can be played mid if you want to. But I would put him solo. Hades doesn't do a whole lot late game. He's still not bad. I mean, he has a fear, which is good. He can kind of heal his teammates, but you really have to work for it. His ultimate's okay. It's not bad. But the strong point with Hades is that he just doesn't lose lane. He's just a big bully in lane. It's hard to beat him out of lane. He's just very good in lane. If you want him in lane, play Hades. There's another god I'll go over that's kind of a lot like Hades. Though I'll say Hades is maybe slightly better. Maybe. I'll still give him A because I think Hades still has uses. Fear is a very powerful ability. And he's a Guardian. He's got really good scaling. Next we got Kali. Kali should probably be A-, but I'm going to keep her A because of just how insane her late game is. She is a hyper carry. If she makes it late game, she's just going to shred through people. Her early game sucks. So if you have a Kali jungle, don't expect Kali to be doing much for you early game. You just got to survive until Kali gets online, mainly after she gets Chin Size and maybe Fatalis. Once she gets those items up though, she's good to go. She's ready to kill. It just takes a while to get all those items. Next thing we got Cuckoo Dragon or Cuckoo Khan. I really like Cuckoo Khan. I really do. I might put him A-. He's very easy to play. He's very safe because you can sit back and put your tornadoes down. He does a lot of damage. His team fight can completely change. I mean, what am I even talking about? His ultimate can completely change a team fight. So I'm getting way too ahead of myself now. His ultimate can completely change a team fight. The problem is, can you hit your ultimate? If you miss your ultimate, then your team fight's kind of Now your tornadoes are very good for area denial. If someone's chasing your teammate, or they're trying to escape, you just put your tornado up in the jungle, and then they have a choice. Do they want to run through it and take a bunch of damage, or not run through it? Most of the time, they're going to choose not to run through it. I don't know. Cuckoo Dragon. He's a damage mage. He doesn't have any utility at all. But I would much prefer Poseidon or Agni for damage mages. For the most part. But I still really love Cuckoo Khan. I think he's fun. Next we got Loki. I want to keep Loki A. He's been getting played a little more. He has an amazing split push potential. He has amazing just kill potential. He's pretty safe since he can go invisible. Yeah, his big downfall is his early game's very weak. He doesn't have very good clear. Once you get Heartseeker up there, you should be pretty good. But yeah, the main reason why you're going to want Loki on your team, though, is for his split push potential. It's not really for his kill potential. You just want to put him in solo. That's really the only position where he's played now, solo. You could jungle him if you want to, but I don't think it's that good. Just put him in solo lane. Just let him sit in solo lane. Don't leave solo lane. Just stay in solo lane. Just push the towers and the Phoenix. They're either going to have to commit to fighting your team, or they're going to commit to stopping you. Now we got Mercury. I probably put Mercury A minus. He's not picked as much anymore. He has a very weak early game too. He can shred towers just like Loki, but Loki's better at it because he can go invisible. I don't know. Look, Mercury does a lot of damage. He's definitely a hyper carry. I like Kali though a little better as far as hyper carries go for assassins like that. And I don't know. There's just something about Mercury that I just don't think he's that great in any role right now. I think he's still good, but I don't think he's that great. I don't know. Next we got Nuwa. I probably also put Nuwa maybe A minus. I really like Nuwa. I used to play Nuwa a lot. And I still miss old Nuwa, but I don't know, I might actually keep Nuwa A. I think she might deserve A. Nuwa has a pretty good bit of utility. She has a pretty good bit of burst damage. Her ultimate can hit everybody. And you can put some debuffs on them. Say like you get General Isolation, you ulti. Well, they're all going to be slowed for a few seconds. That also helps. She's very weak early game. She has very good scaling, especially with her ultimate late game. So her ultimate hurts a lot late. And well, she can really change the team fight with her ultimate just because it hits everybody. She's usually going to have the top player damage on the team because once again, her ultimate hits everybody. And that, for utility go, just play Isis or Giannis. I think Nuwa also has pretty good split push potential because of her clay soldiers. She's not very safe though in the lane. She doesn't have much of an escape. I mean, she can go invisible with her fog, but she has to stay in the fog, so you kind of where she is. No way she can really. I mean, kind of her best escape is her ultimate, and that's really bad early game because her ultimate. Well, I don't know. Nuwa's ultimate's on a really long cooldown, so it kind of sucks to have to use it as an escape. But early game though, as far as her ultimate goes, you mainly want to use it to scout out enemies because it's going to show all the enemies' position early game. Well, it's going to show it throughout the whole game, but it's probably a little more important early game, just to make sure you're not getting ganked or something. Then we have Thanatos. Now to put Thanatos A plus. I really like Thanatos. He has very, very good early game. Late game, you should build him slightly tanky so he can have a little more of a utility role. It's like a little more of a utility / support-ish type role. If you want to watch how to be good with Thanatos, just go watch Weekend. He's very good with Thanatos. But your main objective with Thanatos is to get ahead early. His scythe does an insane amount of damage early. It's very good. He can execute people. I mean, when I see that skull pop up on me when there's an enemy Thanatos, I'm scared because I know he's coming for me. I don't know. I'm probably about to die. But yeah, you can snowball out of control with Thanatos. And the downside with him, though, is if you don't snowball with Thanatos because he sucks late game. His scaling is bad. He doesn't do that much late game. He just doesn't. Which is why you want to build him kind of tanky. Because if you're building him just straight up damage, Thanatos is just going to die a lot. He's not going to be able to stay in fights to do stuff for his team. There we go. Next tier. Now, we're doing a tier list with tier, and tier is getting a major upgrade up to S. Yes, I said it. Tier is S tier god. He is maybe the best solo laner god right now. He's very good. He's hard to kill with this too. He can gain a lot of health back in his defensive stance. He has a pretty good bit of kill potential too with this fearless combo, with this fearless chain. He's very good, very powerful. I love Tyr. I used to not like Tyr that much, but I've practiced with him some more, and he's actually very good. Very good. He does a lot for the team. I like Tyr. Tyr's very good. If you play solo lane, go play Tyr. Next we got Ullr. I really love Ullr. I'm probably going to keep him A because he's kind of in this strange spot of... When you talk about hunters, and someone mentions Ullr and you're like, yeah, Ullr's pretty good. But I don't really play him a lot. Because why would I really want to play him over Rom or Shibalanke or Neath or someone? Now, don't be wrong. I think Ullr's very good. I might actually put him. I'll probably put him A plus. I think he deserves an A plus. I think he's better than Cupid. I definitely think that. And yeah, he does. The downside of him, he doesn't have his ultimate, which is kind of about him. But he has 6 abilities. He has a stun on a hunter. That's crazy to actually have a stun on a hunter. Yeah. Oh, pretty good. Hurts a lot. He's a very mana deficient early game, so better get that blue stone pendant and better use your mana wisely. Nextly, we're gonna go to Big Baby. Oh, Vamana. How I love you. Vamana is kind of weak early game. He has pretty good clear, but he has to use a lot of mana to clear. And he doesn't really become Big Baby until he gets a few items. But Vamana makes the late game. He is a hyper carry. He can just smash through your team. He just does a lot of damage to your team, and you're not gonna be able to kill him or do anything to him because he's Big Baby and he just doesn't care. That's just how Big Baby works. Though I would probably still keep him A because I don't know. I think the fighting phase is kind of rough for the most part, especially early. If you can kill him early, then you're doing good. Next we got Vulcan. I'll probably put him on the same tier as Nuva. He doesn't have any utility. He does have a knockup. He has his turret, which is all cool and stuff. Not really any utility there in the turret, but the main thing with Vulcan though, he's a damage mage that does a lot of damage. I know, that's shocking, isn't it? A damage mage that does a lot of damage? Well, he has pretty good gank potential too, rotating from mid, because you can shoot your ultimate from really far away. My friend, he has him in Diamond. He loves playing Vulcan, and when he plays on mid, he'll just wander over. He'll sit in the jungle, just shoot his ultimate off over the wall while the beast clearing the ways, and just get a kill, because they don't expect it coming from that far away. Vulcan does a lot of damage. The problem with him is he could be camped on. He doesn't have any escapes. He's not mobile at all. He has a knockup to try to help him stay alive, but other than that, Next, we have Ymir. Ymir is someone I'm also going to move up to. I could put him between S and S minus. Yes. Now, Ymir is not played that much support anymore. He's actually played a little bit solo, and he's mostly can be found in the jungle. Ymir is very strong in the jungle. He hurts a lot early game. He has very good scaling for his damage and health. He's very hard to kill. Downside to him is he's kind of slow, but you buy Blink. He blinks in for gank, and whoever he blinks in on is probably dead. You're just going to freeze him, hit him with the 2. You're just going to whack him a few times, especially with that passive. Going to give him a lot of extra basic attack damage. They're probably dead. He's actually pretty good solo. He has pretty good clear with this 2, which get leveled up. He also has a lot of health with this when he levels up. He has very high health scaling. That's what I'm trying to say. Man, wards are hard for me. And yeah, I think he's pretty safe in lane. kinda. He doesn't have an escape, of course, that's the downfall, but he's pretty tanky, so that makes him kinda safe. Kinda. Now, Zonky, I'd probably put between A plus and A. He doesn't get picked any, which is sad. I still think he's very good, though. He's kind of a nice balance of frontliner and mage. He's pretty tanky. He does a pretty good bit of damage. He has a stun. He has a pretty good ultimate. And well, the main thing with him is he's just pretty tanky. You should build him kind of bruiserish. Maybe slightly leaning a little bit more towards damage. But Zonky's pretty good. He does things. He's a cool paintbrush guy. I like Zonky. He's fun. Next we got Sun Wukong, which I already went over, so we're not gonna go over Sun Wukong again. I think he's an A. Now, next we got Ares here, which I'd put somewhere probably between S minus and A. Actually, I'll just put him S minus. I think he's actually pretty good. I think he's a very good support. The thing is, when you play Ares, though, if you like playing aggressive supports, you should play Ares because this is basically how the game's going to go for your team with Ares on team. Ares falls behind. Well, you have a pretty useless support that's going to do nothing for you. He doesn't have any stuns, peels. His ultimate can technically stun, but they just buy beats and it doesn't do anything. He's going to do nothing. He has no kill potential if he falls behind. Ares will just die because he's not mobile. They're just going to pick him off. They're just going to burst him down. Ares will do nothing. It's going to be a very bad time for your team. It's not a fun time. Now, there's a much happier scenario if Ares is on your team. He gets kills early game. And it's not that hard for Ares. Ares has no peel, but he kind of does have peel. Because if you try to chase your ADC down, well, if you're trying to chase their ADC down and the enemy team has a support Ares, he's just going to put chains on you and going to catch you on fire until you decide, hey, I need to leave because I'm about to die from Ares. That's his peel. He's just going to hurt you so much that you're just going to want to run away. So yes, you get ahead with Ares, which isn't the most difficult thing to do with Ares. You're in for a good time. You get behind with Ares, you're in for a very bad time. Now I, as a solo laner, I like to play Ares solo now. I've been messing around with it for a little bit now. You just rush Mystical Mill. Once you get Mystical Mill up with your flames, you actually has a slight bit of decent enough clear potential. It's fine enough. And you can really bully your lane opponent with your chains. Also, that's kind of another downside with them. And in dual lane, he doesn't have much lane clear. So you need a lane with someone that does have good lane clear. Also, he has very good kill potential with Cupidon in a dual lane. Now, going over to Chunga. Chunga is probably she's definitely one of the guys I'd say my top 10 favorite gods. Maybe top 5. Probably not, but I don't know. I really like Chunga. But I keep her A minus. She's very, very good late game. She's definitely a front liner, kind of like Zonky. She's very hard to kill. Her 2 can get her out of some bad situations like Kraken, like Ares pull. You know, bad CC stuff. Kukulkan ultimate. But I mean, she has healing too. She has anti-healing with her 3 also. She has a very powerful ultimate that if you can catch multiple people with it, that's basically a free team fight for your team. Her 1 is also really good for killing. It doesn't do a lot of damage, but it's on a very short cooldown, especially you get max cooldown, which you probably should with Chunga. Downside with her, she uses a lot of mana to clear the lane, to clear the wave early. She has awful wave clear. But to kind of counteract it, you can send your right back to buy mana potions for you, which is what I do. She's only played mid. Don't play her solo. Don't play major solo. It's bad. except for maybe Kronos. Kronos could be played solo, or if you want to play Guardians, that's fine too. Next we got Osiris. I'm gonna move Osiris up. I'm gonna put him. I put him somewhere between A plus and A. He's actually very good right now because he's good against hunters. But someone else that's also really good against hunters is Bologna. So there's not too much of a reason to play Osiris over Bologna. But if you're playing competitive, Bologna gets banned a lot. So Osiris is not that bad of a choice to counter hunters. So I'm going to say he has a pretty good bit of slows in his kit. Especially you get Frostbound, which you probably should. You can slow people for days. His 2 does a decent bit of damage. He has a stun on his 3. He moves pretty fast. He's got pretty good attack speed for a warrior. And he's pretty good. His ultimate's really hard to hit. You can also use it in escape, but if you do hit an enemy guy with it, they can't heal for a certain amount of time. So that's something. Already run over the rest of these guys for 8 minus. Now for B plus. Man. Artemis, I'll move her down to B. She is, I would say, probably the highest DPS hunter in the game. I know Ram is also very high DPS, and Hoyi's pretty good DPS. He doesn't have a... He kind of has a steroid against a single target, but you have to use your mark on them, and... Well, I know you can do a silly amount of damage with a mark on them, but... I don't know. I think Artemis had a better DPS. She has a root. She has a movement speed buff and a crazy attack speed buff on her too. Her 3 can slow. Does a pretty good bit of damage, especially early. Has good poke. Teski, her ultimate is very good for the most part. Sometimes the AI on Teski is kind of iffy. But the problem with Artemis is if you play Artemis in lane, if the enemy's jungler or enemy team's good, they're gonna camp you. Artemis is very easy to gank. You have to use your ultimate just to escape, which is bad. And well, even then, if you're way too far up, they're just gonna chase you down, and kill you. That's the downfall of Artemis. And that's gonna sound very familiar to another guy that I'll talk about in a minute. Next, we got Avilix. Now, I'm actually going to move Avilix up to... I'd probably actually put her A+. I think she's actually really good. She does a lot of damage. She's going to get some buffs soon. And I think the main problem right now is not a lot of people know how to... Not a lot of people play Avilix because they don't want to learn how to play Avilix. Now, Avilix is fun. She's really fun. A lot of fun. I really love Avilix. Especially if you saw my video I did with her. She could be built either ability based or basic attack based. Still get a little bit of defense because she's super squishy. Suku's very good for getting her, around the map very quickly. She could be played jungle, played solo. She's better in the jungle, but she's okay in solo. And yeah, I think Avilix is actually pretty good. I would love to see more people take the time to learn Avilix. I think she's very good. Next, we got Hoyi. I think he should be in B+. He has a very good teamfight ultimate. Outside of that, he's very hard to play. Which is kind of why I also think he should be down here. His mark is actually very good, especially late game. He can do a lot of damage with it. You can use your ricochet, your wand, to stun people if they have the mark on them. He got buffed there where he doesn't have the charge up on his ricochet now. But the ricochet is kind of the hard thing about him because you kind of have to utilize this ricochet to really make Hoyi work. Also, his escape is just completely awful. It's even worse than Neith's, I would say. Neith has a pretty bad escape. Don't know. Hoyi is kind of I would say. Now we got AMC. Oh, AMC. He's not very good. I was gonna say it. AMC's not very good. He has a lot of the same problems. Artemis, He has no escapes. He gets some abilities from his beehives, which is kind of what makes or breaks AMC, because he is very good at boxing enemy gods because of his beehives. He also has some of the best clear for a hunter. He's just not safe in lane. That's the problem with him. He has no mobility except from his beehives, and they could just destroy the beehives and then bam, you have no more mobility. AMC, he's not that good. I really want to like him. He's just not that good though. Now we got Apollo, one of my favorite hunters in the game. He's been getting played a lot more now. I'd probably put him at minus. Now, he's not played that much in the hunter role, although he's been played some in the hunter role. He's mostly played in solo because of his gank, well, not really his gank potential, but because of his ultimate, he can just ulti wherever he wants with his ultimate. If he can go back to base, he can go out, help his team get gold tree, and then he can just ulti back to solo lane, or he could just ulti from solo lane over to gold tree real quick. He can be wherever his teammates want him to be. Also, very good split pusher because of his ultimate. He can split push a Phoenix and then ulti into the team fight. He just has very bad wave clear. That's kind of the problem with him. His wave clear got nerfed by a lot, but he's still pretty good. He has very good damage late game because of his passive. Paul's pretty good. Now Chalk. Now Chalk, I think, is probably slightly better than B, but I just put him B+. Now when I was talking about Sun Wukong earlier, that he doesn't... Well, no, it wasn't. It was Hades. Hades was the one I was talking about. That he just wins lane, but he doesn't do a whole lot after. Well, I think Chalk is a slightly worse version of him. I think he's probably just as good as Hades in lane. I mean, he's just a bully in lane. I mean, it's very hard to beat Chalk in lane. You're probably not unless you're really good or have some kind of really good matchup, or they just misplay. But Chalk is very good, very hard to beat in lane. You're gonna have a good time with Chalk in lane if you're playing him. And then the laning phase is over, and then Chalk just doesn't do a whole lot. The only thing really Chalk does late game is AoE silence people. This is why I think Hades is better than Chalk, because Hades does a little bit more than Chalk does, but I don't know. It's hard to stick to people with Chalk. On another note, he is still pretty hard to kill. He's not a bad frontliner, because he does have healing. But, I don't know. I think it's hard to get damage off on Chalk, since he's kind of turns into a basic attacker late game. Now we got Hebo. Hebo is someone that does an insane amount of damage, but I'm going to move down to C because I don't think Hebo's that good. He dies very quickly. He has to get close. He has to get very close to do damage. His ultimate does an insane amount of damage, like I just said, but it could really put him out of position, like badly. I don't think there's much of a reason to play Hebo or Hobble or however you pronounce his name. I'll just call him Hebo. I don't think he's that good. I really don't. I don't like him. I think he's pretty bad. Hill is another one that I'm going to keep B because of what she can be late game, but it's Hill. If you're a good team, you should never let Hill get late game because Hill will just beat the crap out of you late game. And there's no reason for letting her get late game because you should just camp Hill. If you see an Hill in the game and you're playing jungle, just camp that lane. It's easy kills. Hill won't be able to do anything to stop you. This is why Hill's not picked. She just feeds in Conquest against a competent team. There's no other way around it. She can't be played solo because she's going to get invaded. She gets played mid. She's going to get ganked by the jungler and support. The only reason I'm keeping her B is because she is amazingly powerful late game. She is top tier when it comes to 1v1 joust because she doesn't have to worry about getting ganked in joust. So there's that if you're interested in that. But as far as Strictly Conquest go, she's not good. Don't play her. Kumba. I'm going to put Kumba up a little bit higher. I think I'll put him A. Still don't think he's that great of a support. I think he's good, but I don't think he's. You gotta look what you're competing with. You got Athena, you got Sylvanas, you got Geb. You got Ares, Emir, Sobek. I mean, when are you gonna beat any of those out for playing sport? You're just really not. Although Kumba, if you need set up a team if you have a Kuka on your team, you set up for his ultimate. Hey, there you go, Kumba Karna. That's all he does. He sets people up. Now there was a little thing going on for a little bit. Just thought this would be worth mentioning that that he was being played mid for a time of it. Not any pro games, but just for fun. It's not great, but it's okay. Goomba is actually his damage is actually pretty funny. He actually can do a pretty good bit of damage, to be honest. But just why? Alright, now who's ready for a big bump up? Because Neath does not deserve to be a B down here. Does not deserve a B plus. Does not deserve A minus. Does not deserve A plus, S minus, S. She deserves to be S plus. Neath is very powerful. So Neath. Well, let's go over Neath. Neath is someone that I never really thought she was B tier. I thought she was at least probably A. I thought Neath was pretty good. Now she's definitely an early game hunter. She falls off late game. That was always kind of the problem with her. She had no steroids, but she was pretty safe in the lane. She has a lot of sustain, which was kind of the good part about Neath, and she had just the best lane clear for hunters. But what made her so good? The Heartseeker build. Heartseeker build made Neath OP. She's extremely powerful early game. She can be played hunter. She can be played mid. She can be played solo. That's kind of why she's so good right now in competitive, because she gets picked. The enemy team doesn't know where she's going. She can be played in 3 different positions. Just don't know where she's going. Especially with the double hunters going on right now. Neath is very powerful. She doesn't have to leave lane to be in a team fight with her ultimate. She's very good. Play Neath for right now. I don't know how long this Heartseeker build's gonna last. It's at least gonna last for a while longer. Probably gonna get nerfed at some point, because the Heartseeker build should be nerfed at some point, because it's extremely powerful, especially on Neath. Next, we're gonna play. Oh god, Naja. I don't know what to do with Naja. Maybe I don't know. I don't really like Naja that much. Naja has a lot going for him. At the same time, he doesn't have a lot going for him. He does a lot of damage, especially with crit, because his Sash can crit. Obviously, you get Deathbringer in his ultimate. That's just gonna be a fun time for you. But he just dies very easily. That's kind of the problem. To be honest, I think I actually like support Naja better than I like assassin Naja. And it sucks that his passive is really strange for an assassin, because it gives him extra health regeneration. And it also sucks that when you die, you have to restack it. I don't know. I don't like Naja that much. I think he's kind of My friend's probably going to hate me for saying that, because he really likes Naja, but I think personally Naja is kind of Next we got Odin. I don't know where my mouse went. Oh, over here. Okay, there we go. My mouse keeps disappearing for some reason. We got Odin. I'm actually going to move Odin up to A. Now, I don't know if Odin really should be an A, although I think Odin's actually a lot better than what people think he is. I think he's really underrated, which I'm going to probably put him up in A. His rings. People underestimate how powerful Odin's rings are. his ring. It's very powerful, especially against a healing lineup. It's just gonna prevent all the healing. If they have a bunch of guys that can't escape, they're not getting out. If you have someone like Poseidon on your team too, they're just gonna crack it inside of it, put a whirlpool down. I don't think Odin's that bad. He falls off really bad at late game, but he has a lot of kill potential early with the bird bomb. Just use your 2, jump on them. There goes like 75% of their health. It's crazy. He has a slow. His shield helps him out a lot late game. I really like Odin. I think he's pretty good. Not even gonna lie. Let's give him a try. Like I said, I think he's good, but I definitely see the downsides to Odin also. Next we got Zeus. Now Zeus probably should go down to C because, like Hell, he's gonna get camped a lot. But also like Hell, he has a lot of damage potential. And if he uses his ultimate correctly, you're probably gonna win a team fight. One good thing about Ares though, I find that he's actually really good against melee gods because it's gonna be. I find it hard to really keep up with Odin and do things to him because he can put a shield up. He's just gonna put those charges on you, and then he's just gonna detonate them. You're gonna be slow. He's just gonna keep hitting you more and more. Chain lightning also does a stupid amount of damage as there's just 2 enemy gods standing right beside each other. But he has no escape. He's very easily camped. If there's a Zeus in your game on the enemy team, just camp him and kill him over and over again and get fed. If you do that, you win the game. Now, we're finally to the final stretch. Down to the C tier. And some of this is already going to be changing because Anubis is moving up to A-. I really like Anubis. I think Anubis is actually, just like Odin, is better than what people give him. I don't think he's... Alright, so this is the thing with Anubis. He has a lot of the same problem with Hell and Zeus, where he has to stand still to do stuff. Well, that's not the problem. The problem is he has to stand still to do stuff, which means, like Zeus and Hell, he's not very mobile. He has no escapes. He can die a lot if the new team just camps him, which you should. The difference, though, I said yes, Hell and Zeus do a lot of damage, but it compares nothing to what Anubis will do to you. Because Anubis actually has a stun. He'll wrap you up. He'll put the hands down on you. That sounded funny. He'll put his hands down. He will shoot you with the laser beam of doom. And nobody wants a laser beam of doom, especially if you're someone squishy. Because you're just going to die in 2 seconds. That's the only difference I think I see with Anubis and say the 2 other like Zeus and Hell. Even with someone like Hebo, he's kind of like Hebo. Hebo bursts people down very quickly, but with Hebo you have to put yourself out of position to do your damage. With the Anubis, you could kind of sit back and do it from afar, especially with your ultimate. Also, Anubis has much better wave clear than Zeus, and Hell has to get in the very middle of the wave to clear the wave, which Anubis doesn't have to. Then we're going to go to Kabrakan. Now, Kabrakan is also someone else that should not be in C. He should probably maybe actually be an A. Kabrakan's actually pretty good. Kabrakan was C because, well, he's called Fat Loki because he has Guardian stats. He has Guardian scaling with an assassin type kit, which was kind of strange for Kabrakan. No one really knew what to do with him. He was played every now and then. Never played in support. Don't play in support. But then people realized, oh, Guardians are super powerful right now. They're like, hey, Kabrakan, he has Guardian scaling and an assassin with the assassin type abilities. Let's play some Kabrakan. Kabrakan's very good in the jungle. He's pretty good in solo lane. you might not always get a lot of kills with Cabrakan, but you're just gonna have just such great disruption in team fights. I mean, he has stuns. His tremors will just make it really hard for people to do anything. He can wall people in. Cabrakan, aka Fat Loki, is actually not that bad. Then we're gonna move on to the very last one. We have Nox. I'm moving this up because you know what's coming, and I hate to say this because I actually really like Nox, but she's very bad. Absolutely no reason right now to play Nox. If you're actually trying to win a game, do not play Nox. There's no reason to. She doesn't have enough damage. She's probably not. She probably should still be in C, but I'm gonna move her down to D because there's absolutely no reason to play her. There's absolutely none. Anything that she does, an enemy god can do much better. There's no reason to specifically play Nox. And then of course we got Alprosher here. That's now not on Xbox yet. He's probably gonna be somewhere up here because he's actually very good when he comes out. I'm not sure how many of y'all have actually got to play Alprosher yet. He's very good though. He's actually pretty fun too. I've played with him a little bit on PC. But for now, I'm not gonna talk about him. He's going over here somewhere. You two rad Tasker. Yeah, that's basically it for me. I know this video was super long, but it's kind of how I feel about the gods right now in the game. I could be very wrong, and if I'm really wrong, let me know down in the comments why I'm wrong. Because, well, this is just my personal opinion, but hey, I want to hear what everybody else has to think. So, just want to say thank y'all for watching this really long video. Let me know, once again, if there's any other guys you want to see me do a guide on. And thank you for watching, and have fun.